Today I'm going to be doing my AFC playoff predictions for the NFL. We have just finished the regular season with a bang with the Raiders and the Chargers. It has been absolute insanity. There's been so much to talk about. I've filled out my bracket all the way through, but these are going to be split into two videos with the AFC on one, the NFC on the other. The NFC at the tail end is going to have my Super Bowl winners and the reasons why I think that they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I'm not going to spoil that for you. And I'm going to end up pulling up my AFC bracket right now. And we're going to start with the 6-seed Patriots versus the 3-seed Buffalo Bills. And probably one of my favorite matchups coming out of Wildcard Weekend. This game is going to be determined by weather, it feels like, when both previous games have. When the weather is good, the Bills have looked fantastic. And when the weather has looked terrible, the Patriots have found a way to win. And I struggle to pick teams that have found ways to win or have found a way to win or get into the playoffs via the Eagles and the Niners and the Patriots. It's hard to pick these teams, and I feel that I'm higher on the Bills than I am other people. I feel that this Mike Tyson punch is what Colin Cowherd likes to say. I'm very much a believer in the Bills, and I feel that if they get off to a very fast start, they can end up winning football games. And if they can get over the hump of beating the Patriots in the playoffs when it matters most, the Bills Mafia can go very far. But it's all about taking that step, and as a franchise, they need to take this one. This is probably the biggest game they've had in a long time. I would say this is a bigger deal than the AFC Championship right now, because I wouldn't say that. I would say it's right up there because it's the Patriots. It means more. This is a team that has beaten you down for the past 15, 20 years, and you get your opportunity in the playoffs to make a statement game to prove that you were going to win the AFC East because you're the better team, not because the Patriots lost this, even with the Bills having a slightly down year in the regular season, and that being because of their running game and their offensive line hasn't been as consistent. But their defense and their quarterback and their head coach are three things that I really like, and those are things I take into consideration. And if the weather is really good, I'm feeling confident in the Bills. There's a stat saying that Mac Jones, once he's down by 14 or the opposing team scores 14 points or more, he is 2-7 or something like that. And I think when you play a high-powered offense like the Bills, if the Patriots were playing the Bengals or if they were playing the Chiefs, the problem is they're going to score points. And this Patriots defense is really, really good, but I don't think it's good enough to stop the Bills from scoring under 10 unless the weather is really, really bad. And that's why I feel pretty confident in the Bills. Now, if the Patriots win, my entire bracket flips on its head for reasons you're about to see relatively soon. Next matchup, we have the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Cincinnati Bengals, the winner of the AFC North, in a huge matchup. We are talking about two teams that have surprised us all. The Raiders overcoming adversity throughout the entire season with an interim head coach. The Bengals, who flipped the script and have become one of the best teams in the NFL and one of the most likable teams in the NFL with Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon. And with that being said, I'm going to have to consider coaching and where this game is being played. It's not in a dome. It's in the Bengals, a gritty game. It's not going to be the best weather for the Raiders. It's not going to be the best matchup for the Raiders. I think this game is going to be determined by the defensive line from both teams. And I think which team's quarterback is going to be the most comfortable is going to win this game. And I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals are going to be able to win this game, not very much in a blowout, but very much handily. I think they're going to have the victory formation and be able to stop the Raiders just enough to move on to the divisional. This is a huge game as a franchise for the Bengals to step in and prove that they aren't just some sort of fluke. This is a time to showcase the talent that you have drafted, and I think the Bengals got the best matchup they could have. I don't think the Steelers was going to be a great matchup for them. I think the Raiders was the best option they could have gotten, and they're going to move on to the divisional. The Raiders end their Cinderella story right here, right now, and move on back to the couch and regroup, potentially get Jim Harbaugh as their next head coach or keep the interim head coach. We don't know. The Raiders have a big offseason coming up for them. The Chiefs and the Steelers is going to be the surprise matchup for all of Wildcard Weekend, as I feel that this game could potentially be a lot closer than people realize. I do think the Chiefs pull this one out, though. They have the better quarterback. They have the better offense. But the Steelers, it's hard to blow out a team with good coaching and a good defense twice. And I think The Steelers are going to make it close. It's Big Ben's final game. It's his last hurrah. They're not going to make it to the Super Bowl, guys, but they're going to make this one at least interesting in the first half, and I do think the Chiefs are going to pull this one out. They do tend to go down in games, especially in the playoffs. It's a known fact for the Chiefs, but I do think the Chiefs can pull this one out, very handily get out of this game. It's a trap game for the Chiefs. A lot of people are picking them to be a blowout. And I think the Steelers are going to come in motivated and really riding off of this win. This game could be really gritty also. It could be a close matchup up till the third quarter, and I think the Chiefs are going to be able to pull this one out. I do think there is a small chance it'll be a blowout, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a chance as people are wanting it to be. Next game, we're going to talk about the Bengals and the Titans, the 1 versus the 4 matchup in one of the most interesting games of the year. And there's a part of me that wants to pick the Bengals here. There's another part that's saying it's the Bengals. No matter how good Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase is, it's still the Bengals. They are still the franchise that don't have an indoor facility. And when it comes to divisional games, they always find a way to choke it. And I think the Titans are going to make sure Joe Burrow is off the field. And when it comes to coaching, I love Mike Vrabel versus Zach Taylor. And that is a huge difference. Now, I like Joe Burrow more than Ryan Tannehill, but Ryan Tannehill is not going to make the mistakes, and you're bringing a healthy Derrick Henry in here, and that's a big deal. And I don't trust the Bengals linebackers and secondary, and even their defensive line to stop Derrick Henry. I don't think there's a team on this playoff list that can stop Derrick Henry, but at the same time, this Titans team is really good, but they're not super dynamic in the passing game, but A.J. Brown could be really good in this game. And I think this will be a closer game that people will realize. The Bengals are going to showcase their talent, and they could win this game. There's not a doubt in my mind. If they get up early, the thing with the Titans, you need to be able to get ahead early and often and keep the pressure on and not get conservative and let them slowly get back into this game. The Titans are able to come back in games. We've seen it with the Seahawks. When Derrick Henry gets rolling, there's no stopping that offense. It is incredible. Now, I'm not saying the Seahawks defense is anything close to the Bengals right now, but at the same time, I've personally witnessed this Titans team can come back. They are a greatly coached team, and they should not be slept on because it's the Titans. They're the first seed for the reason, and a down year for the AFC in the general, but having that week off is going to benefit the Titans, I think, and they could come off rusty, and the Bengals get up to a very fast start, but at the same time, I truly do believe in the Titans. You have the Bills versus the Chiefs in a huge matchup, and this is going to be my hottest take of the video. I got the Bills winning this one. I'm going to just get my take out of the way and explain why. I watched the Chiefs a lot this year, and there's just something about them that's a little different than previous years. They're not as scary as I believe. They don't have a running game that I truly trust. They are still the same Chiefs with the same dynamic players and plays, and Travis Kelce is fantastic. Their defense has looked great sometimes, but they didn't look great against the Bengals, and that's a key game for me. And I think the Bills have that kind of power on offense that potentially could make this game really, really close. And it's tough to say because I think the coaching is really close. The fact that it is in Kansas City is really tough for me to bet against. Patrick Mahomes not having to go away for any of these games is really tough. And I truly believe that this is a revenge game for Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, and my gut is telling me the Bills can pull this one out. It's so hard to get to 3 Super Bowls, and if the Chiefs pull this one out, I think they could beat the Titans again and face the 2 teams that they beat in an AFC Championship again, and I think those are 2 games that would be really tough to win, and I think it would be really tough to beat the Bills right now, especially if they got over the hump and beat the Patriots in the previous week. They'll have a lot of momentum coming in, and I think the Steelers are going to be gritty, and they could honestly wear out a lot of the Chiefs. But the Chiefs have been here. They have the experience. So do the Bills now, and I think the Bills could squeak this one out. And we get an AFC championship between the Buffalo Bills and the Tennessee Titans. A historically great matchup if you count the Titans as the Oilers. And this game would be hyped up very much because the regular season game was fantastic to watch. It came down to a game of inches. And I think it's hard to beat a team twice. And for that reason, I have the Buffalo Bills, the 3 seed, ending up in the Super Bowl. I'm not super confident in this pick, I'll be honest. But I do believe that this could be such a great game. It's an AFC championship that I would be so excited to watch. I think Derrick Henry can control this game and make sure that Josh Allen's off the field. But there's something about this offense, and I feel if they have the momentum to beat the Chiefs and beat the Patriots, they could beat the Titans. I think Josh Allen is just an incredible talent. I believe in their defense. I believe if they can at least get some sort of running game. And if this is the biggest thing with the Bills right now, they are either a first-round exit or they are a Super Bowl potential team. And I am going all in with them potentially going to the Super Bowl. If not, my second pick would probably be the Chiefs, but I didn't want to be boring. I'll be honest. I picked the Bills because I didn't want to pick the Chiefs. It's a safe pick, but I'm not going to go with it. And I am going even crazier with my NFC pick because the thing is, you got to get a little weird with these picks, and the favorites aren't always going to win for a reason. There was a part of me that almost picked the Steelers to move on into the divisional and have a Cinderella type run, and I think that there's potential that they could beat the Chiefs. But with that being said, if you want to go with the safe pick, and if I was putting money on this, I would go with the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. But I'm filling out my bracket. If this was March Madness, this is what I'm going with. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills to make it to the Super Bowl, shock a lot of people, and become a team of destiny almost. But that is it for my AFC side of the bracket. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Show some love. I love making content for y'all. And my NFC video will probably come out the next day after you see this one. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. And let me know, where's your team right now? Are they a rebuild? Did they just fire their GM and head coach? And what do you think they should do in the offseason? Thank you so much for watching.